as an 8-year-old, I didn't know anything about money. I was like, well, whatever this money thing is, if this thing called money can turn my saint teddy bear of a dad into Satan, right? Money is clearly bad. And I made a little vow in my little 8-year-old brain at that time that money is bad and evil and avoid it at all costs. True story, y'all. Carried that all the way through my life until literally maybe 4 or 5 years ago when I started doing all this emotional growth, emotional work. So imagine a 20-year plus entrepreneur thinking that money is bad and not wanting to make money. You want to talk about some irony in life. That is some irony. What is going on, entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers? Super excited for this episode today. Very near and dear to my heart and very, very personal. So as always, I share my real, relevant, real-time emotional lessons learned in my emotional growth journey as an entrepreneur. And today is no exception. Big shout out to all of you that either are listening to us on our podcast, EQ for Entrepreneurs, or our YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much. And again, I want to continue to just share some of the exciting milestones with you all because a number of you all are growing with us on our own emotional growth journey, and you guys have been a part of it. So just thank you. I want to share some exciting milestones. So number one, we are going to be sharing some training and some information about emotional intelligence with the U.S. Army Reserve Command staff, which I'm super excited about 500 to 600 civilians and military folks. Really excited to share some great content for them. Big shout out and thanks to Colonel Eric Lopez of Lopez on Leadership on his YouTube channel for reaching out and getting that all set up. Really excited to share and really help out that organization in that way. Also, we've got a training with a small group of senior homeschool leaders with classical conversations. Going to be talking to them also about emotional intelligence and really excited about that. Homeschooling is near and dear to our hearts because we've been homeschooling now for going on 9 years now. So really excited to share with that small group of leaders about emotional intelligence. And also, we are launching our EQ for Entrepreneurs Accelerator Course, EQ Accelerator Course, next week. Super excited about that. For those of you that would like to check out some more details about that, just go to eqforentrepreneurs.com/EQA for EQ Accelerator. EQA, entrepreneurs, eqforentrepreneurs.com/EQA. All right. And thank you all to all of you that have shared some stories of your own emotional growth with us. Please keep those coming. Super duper appreciate that. We love hearing from you all. And you can email us at info@eqforentrepreneurs.com. Stories like one of our dear friends, Alicia, mother of soon to be 3, and she had originally a very hard time with conflict and difficult conversations. Now, as a result of her emotional growth, she's been able to have some very, some challenging conversations, but handle those challenging conversations, those difficult conversations with confidence and with peace and healthy boundaries. She kind of shared a story, not too long ago of one of those stories with us. And I was like, wow, it's been amazing to see her grow through her emotional growth journey. Also, her husband, Alika, and like me, has been a very big people pleaser. And so much so that in some of the toxic relationships that he's had, he would ruminate and stew over and over about what those toxic people thought about him. And man, I can totally relate because that has absolutely been my personal experience as well prior to my emotional growth journey. As a result of his EQ work, he now has proper boundaries and does not let toxic people negatively influence or control his emotions or behavior. It's been awesome to see them both grow. And you could follow them at Crush Life Couple. Crush Life Couple. Okay, now my personal story about money and finances. So when I was a child, when I was about 8 years old, we had a 2-story house at the time. I heard a bunch of yelling and screaming downstairs. I was like, wow, that sounds a little weird. Come running down the stairs, and what do I see? My dad, who's a big giant guy, 6'3", 6'4", 285 pounds, calm and cool as pond water on normal occasions. Today, he was standing in the middle of the kitchen, literally launching pots and pans at the windows, at the doors, at the cabinets, picking up chairs, breaking chairs. Like the picture in my mind, it's like King Kong standing on the Empire State Building, swatting the planes flying by. And my mom, 4'10", 4'11", little Hispanic lady, literally huddled, hiding behind the kitchen there, the corner, crying, screaming, just terrified. Well, obviously incredibly emotionally charged. What do? I'm a little kid. I don't know what's going on. I come hide behind my mom behind the island until my dad chilled out. And again, I had never seen my dad like this ever. He was always so calm, so cool, so collected. And please understand when I share this stuff, this is not to say I've had amazing parents. My dad, he passed away 10, 11 years ago. He was an incredibly successful, loving, and very competent ER doctor. And my mom is still an amazing, wonderful lady that I'm so, so thankful for. So please know when I share this stuff, this is not, I'm trying to knock on my parents, not at all. This is just the story of where I developed my first story about money. So when the dust settled, literally just about when the dust settled, I found out after we're all done crying and screaming, my dad's finally calmed down, throwing pots and pans and chairs around the kitchen, what the argument was about. What do you think? It was about money. It was about money. And as an 8-year-old, I didn't know anything about money. I was like, well, whatever this money thing is, if this thing called money can turn my saint teddy bear of a dad into Satan, right? Money is clearly bad. And I made a little vow in my little 8-year-old brain at that time that money is bad and evil and avoid it at all costs. True story, y'all. Carried that all the way through my life until literally maybe 4 or 5 years ago when I started doing all this emotional growth, emotional work. So imagine a 20-year plus entrepreneur thinking that money is bad and not wanting to make money. You want to talk about some irony in life. That is some irony. And so, and as recent as this morning, this morning driving to jujitsu, my jujitsu class, I had another epiphany because I've been working, because I've been a little hesitant and reticent about this EQ course, this EQ Accelerator course that we're launching. It's going to be amazing, right? But I've been hesitant. I've been reticent. Like, man, I'm dragging my feet still. Like, what is going on? Why am I holding back with this deal? And I've been working on it emotionally, working on it, praying, asking God, man, God, help me out here. And finally, this morning, driving to Jits, it hit me. In my head, the story, and this came from deep in my subconscious. What I have been doing subconsciously is thinking that this is my story. This is the story that was going on. If this course doesn't sell, if nobody buys this course, that means I'm not valuable. That means I'm a failure. That means I have no worth. See, that's proof that I have no value and no worth because nobody bought the course. So, and for those of y'all that have been with us for a little while in this EQ journey, you guys have heard some of this story before. I have struggled for years, like decades, with low self-worth, low self-image, feelings of unworthiness, unqualified, imposter syndrome, all those things. And so, boom, here it is again, comes up. And I thought I'd been doing some work on this, and I have been, but boom, here it was again. Didn't realize it. There's still more of that stuff in there that I have to work through because I'm doing nobody a favor by playing small. I'm doing nobody a favor by holding on to all this amazing EQ lessons learned that we've been learning over the past handful of years, I'm doing nobody a service by holding all that stuff in. So I've got to work on this stuff, work on these unhealthy or ungodly beliefs and stories that I have still around finances, around money. So is that true? Is it true that if our course doesn't sell that I have no value? Of course not. But again, it's crazy, right? How those stories can happen, how our little, the little connections that we can make that are not based in truth. They're not accurate at all. So some questions for you all. What's your view of money? What's your view of success? Not in general, for you. For you. Do you have an emotionally healthy view of money? Do you have an emotionally healthy view of success? And this is what I'd love to ask you is, where did your view of money and or success come from? Now, I'm not trying to, I'm not saying, please know that I'm not trying to say that success equals money. That's absolutely not what I'm saying at all. This episode happens to be about finances and money and stuff. And is there an aspect or component for many people in success involving money? Yes. So in this scenario, I'm going to make a little bit of a correlation, obviously, but know that I think there are a lot of things that can how I define personally success. But my point is, where did your view of success come from? Where does your view of finances or money come from? What stories do you have around success? What stories do you have around money? Is money bad? Do you have? Do you feel like a certain amount of money is bad? I've talked to a number of Christians. No kidding. I've talked to a number of Christians that, oh man, Noble. No, man, if you make $100,000, no, you can't be Christian, man. No, that's too much. I'm like, dude, where does that say that in the Bible? Like show me where that's at, bro. That it says if you make $100,000 or $1 million or 10, like where's, I've read it cover to cover a few times. Like I have not seen it yet. So, but there are a lot of people that have, again, some ungodly or unhealthy beliefs around money and success. This is personal now. Do I think that if you make money an idol, like if you worship money, if everything you do is for money, I think that's not healthy emotionally. I don't think that's a healthy view or approach around money. But again, if you are in that scenario, and I know some people like that, again, I would ask them, where did that come from? Did they grow up in poverty? Because there's reasons, right? There are reasons of where and how we came to develop our thoughts and stories and beliefs around finances and money. As an entrepreneur, what's the value of your content or your product or your service that you offer to the world? Are you currently playing small when you should be playing at the next level? Man, I've been, there's a passage in the Bible, Matthew 25:14-30, it talks about the parable of the talents. And basically it's an entrepreneur story, literally. There's an entrepreneur who's got 3 employees, goes off to vacay somewhere, probably to Colorado, go snowboarding. And, two guys doubled the money that the boss gave to them. And one guy buried the money in the backyard and said, "Hey, boss, I was too afraid. I didn't want to lose the money. I was, fear. He had his story around money was fear, and around his boss, the relationship with his boss, whatever, was fear. And so he buried it in the backyard." Well, all that to say, that's been my story for many years of my life. I have been playing small for most of my life. And man, finally, as a result of this EQ growth, I am excited and ready to go to the next level, to reach more people with the gifts and talents that he's given me, that I've worked on over the years. I want to share those gifts with others. Is it for everybody? Of course not. But there are people out there that I know would benefit from this message of getting healthier emotionally, personally and professionally. So I just want to challenge you and encourage you to do some reflection around your view of success and money and finances, and maybe what level you're playing at. Can you get healthier emotionally in those areas and begin to unlock some things, find out what those origin stories are of those stories and beliefs that you have around those different topics that we just talked about, and see if you can get some breakthroughs in your life and take it to the next level. And again, for those of you all that are ready to do that, please join us on our 8-week course for the EQ Accelerator course that we launched literally next week. Let some of your friends know, and share with your friends too some of your emotional growth breakthroughs and stuff as well. But you can check out more details on our EQ Accelerator course at eqforentrepreneurs.com/EQA. Have an awesome day. God bless you.